This is the third and final tutorial on our Revolution slider. So this one we're going to show you how to add buttons. So we're assuming you have a slider and that you have slides. You don't actually have to have text in order to do the buttons because the buttons are actually going to be associated with the slides. So click the plus button next to the slide, click button layer, and then this labels what it's actually the text that will be in the button. So let's say that we want to do our map and fair guide. We have right now 3 different class options. We have default, which is the blue, a light option, and a dark option. And then we can choose the size of the button. And then you can actually put an icon on the left or right if you'd like. So for this example, I'd like to use the star. And then you have different link options. So you can do a page, you can link to a file. So if you want to go to a PDF or if you want to go to a site away from this site. So for this example, I want to actually use a page on our site. And then here, this button position is really important. So I actually want this button to show up at the bottom, but I don't want it to be at the very bottom. I want there to be a little bit of room. And so I'm going to do -150, and the negative will actually bring it up. And press save. And then while we preview, there are a couple of things to consider. One, you want to see how the button looks when your web browser is completely open like this. The next thing you want to do is make it smaller and just make sure that that positioning still looks right. So that looks pretty good. Make that big. Let's go ahead and add a couple of buttons to the second slide. Add a button layer. Let's do food, artisans, something like that. Do large. For this one, let's do light color. We want this to go to our vendor list. And then I want it centered, but I want these buttons next to each other. So centered on the x-axis, and then I'm going to do -150. So what that's going to do is that was on the x-axis, and negative will go here to negative. So it'll pull left. And then I'm going to want another one that pulls right. So let's add another button layer. And on this one, let's do like the entertainment schedule. I'm going to do the dark class to show you those different options, large. And for this one, it'll go to the schedule page. And then on that x-axis, I'm going to do center, but I'm going to offset it 150, so plus. So then let's go ahead and take a look at that. We'll click this right here so we can quickly see it. So you see, I didn't actually put these at the bottom, so I need to change the y-axis for those to be at the bottom. But they do look pretty good side by side. Let's check out our comparison here. So now you'll see that they're actually overlapping a little bit. So that's not what we want to do. So most likely we'll probably, because those buttons are so long, we're probably going to actually want to stack those buttons. So let's go back to the structure. Let's go to that first button. And so instead of centering it, we're going to want to do it at the bottom. But again, I don't want it at the very bottom, so I'm going to do -150. And then I've decided I want to stack these, so we're not going to have a horizontal offset. And then on the second button, we're also going to get rid of this horizontal offset. I want a different vertical offset because I want them to be stacking, and I want this to be at the bottom. So you just kind of have to play around with the X and Y axis, and it's important to take a look at the different browser sizes just to kind of see that it's going to show up the way that you're wanting to show up. So now let's take a look. And that's a lot better. So those are stacked. That looks pretty good on a small. It needs a little bit more space, so maybe do one -200 and one -100 or something to just kind of spread them out a little bit. But it just kind of takes practice figuring out where the proper placement should be. But after you figure that out, it's pretty simple.